The Democratic Republic of Congo is a nation endowed with vast natural resource wealth. However, two conflicts, sometimes referred to as the African World War, have resulted in the deaths of an estimated 5.4 million people. The prevalence of war, famine, and disease, alongside rape and sexual violence, are unmatched in the modern world. Its most vulnerable victims are women, and especially children. Today, there are approximately 5 million orphans in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and yet the Western media is largely silent. Where does hope begin?
It's a humanitarian organization that serves to help the orphans and children and people of the Congo in any way they can.
I learned of our family in Africa watching another OFA family bring two little boys home, and in that process learned a tremendous amount about Congo, the issues and opportunities available there, and found myself falling in love with a beautiful country that had a lot of need.
We read an article in the paper about Hilma and how she was facilitating adoptions from the Congo. We said, hey, look here, this is about Congo. And we checked out her website and really loved what it had to say about just opening our doors to the world and the needs around the world and being more aware of what's outside of Vancouver, Washington.
Our first experience with Hilma and with the whole organization was, it was great.
In 2001, I went to the DRC with a group of people to do some humanitarian work. And we specifically went to a region in the southern part of the country called Lumumbashi to visit an orphanage called Jamaletu Orphanage, where there were approximately 30 to 35 children, girls. And it was there that I saw the tremendous need that the country had.
Well, my first trip was to Lubumbashi, which is southern DRC, and that was in '05 when I did the documentary. And that was an eye-opener. This was my very first time ever to Africa, and it changed my life.
I felt like it was a war zone.
We went there and it'll just change you.
And I said to the orphanage director, we need to bring more resources to you. And have you considered adoption? And she said, well, the Americans don't do adoptions from the DRC. The government doesn't do them. Our government doesn't talk to the Americans about it. And so she looked at me and she said, can you help me? And I said, I can help you. And so that's how it all started. And then she said, can you start by adopting one of our own children for your family? And I said, absolutely.
I am adopted, and so for me, adoption is just a natural way to grow a family.
Graham has radically impacted our family's lives. We have given him a lot, but I feel comfortable and confident in saying that we have gotten so much more in return from him.
Stella was meant to be in our family, and she has changed our lives for the better. You know, everyone says she's a lucky girl, and we're the lucky ones to have her in our lives.
First time we held her, she just was our kid.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
The first time I met our adopted son, Campbell, I was alone in Congo. You could hear rustling and kids obviously moving, everybody yelling. And I opened the gate, and then you see this little body come running across and grab onto my leg and just start saying, Papa, Papa. It's one of those things that still makes me tear up a little bit. A year and a half ago, I'd be sobbing right now, but we're good now.
And I don't think that our family has changed, other than it's just grown, and it's louder. And we eat more.
It's
funner.
We always used to talk about wanting to take our children to a country so they could see a different part of the world. And through this process of adopting Martin, it's like the DRC got brought to our home, and our children have been made aware of the needs that exist over there.
We had some interesting feelings when we first went there to get Daniela. We had been so focused, I think, on the adoption and on her. We were just so overjoyed, and then all of a sudden it hit us. Adoption is beautiful and wonderful, but it shouldn't be necessary on the level that it's necessary in the Congo.
OFA about 3 or 4 years ago continued to do adoptions, but we focused on trying to expand beyond just adoptions.
The Transformed mission is not adoption per se. but it is the family's adoption of Congo and their continuing support of Congo so that all the children who remain in Congo have an opportunity to succeed.
And in shifting the focus from adoption to helping find a solution for Congo, for the children there, you're not helping just one child, you're able to help communities. And these children really are the future of this country. So they deserve to have education. They deserve to have a chance to make a difference and make an impact in their country.
It's not over just because we brought our child home.
Some of us might have the opportunity to meet these kids whose lives we are now connected to, but most of us will not. And so it's an opportunity to be radically disruptive in a positive way.
The biggest killer in Africa, for the most part, and certainly in the Democratic Republic of Congo, is still malaria. The next issue is food security. And then the third is education security. We want to educate as many children as possible in DRC with our limited resources so that that new mindset of learning how to take care of the country on your own begins to grow.
One of the beautiful things about OFA is they've never given up. And I've traveled part of this journey with Hilma, and I can see at different stages where maybe she could have given up. Maybe I would have given up, and said, forget it, I'm done. I'm done with this. Or once I'm done with adoptions, I'm out completely. But she hasn't. She has not given up. And that's a very big deal.
We wanted to bring resources to this orphanage and others that came after. And so we started looking for families, or actually they came to me asking me if I would help them.
We believe in what they do. Once you've been to Congo, you see how much need there is. It's a beautiful country. There's a lot of opportunity, a lot of children who need a hope and a chance for having a future, and we just want to be part of that.
The hope is the family's ability not just to provide a home for a Congolese child, but the hope derives out of the family's own continued participation.
We know that that it makes a huge difference, but you can't do anything without funding.
We don't make money, we're all volunteers.
Hilma has really tried from the very beginning to have complete transparency and accountability.
We make sure that the funds that we collect, the donations, go directly to these orphanages.
You donate $1 and 99 cents goes to the cause.
The fact that it's so volunteer driven also gives me a high degree of confidence that there's tremendous leverage on every dollar that I give, that more of it ends up there.
My greatest wish for OFA and the children of Congo is that we can continue to support them.
My wish is to expand this in other countries.
I think our greatest wish for Congo and for the children who are there is that they can be part of the solution to making their country better.
The basic needs of food and shelter and clothing and medical care are great and so needed, but education is what's going to further them as adults.
My dream for Congo and my hope for our families in Africa would be that when this generational baton is passed, that we leave Congo better than where it was. The issues and the challenges that Congo faces weren't created over a 20-year period. It would be silly to think that the solution would fix it in 20 years.
My greatest wish is that even if OFA didn't exist, that all of the lives that we've touched, all of the families that we've helped, continue on this path of reaching out to the DRC and its people. That's my greatest wish, that regardless of what happens to us or OFA, that they continue on this path, and their children and their children's children, many of whom are Congolese, will continue as well. That they won't stop and they don't forget. That's my greatest wish, that they don't forget the children and others that are still there wanting to be held.